damage!
Oh, we are losing inertial dampeners!
Systems are failing ship-wide, Captain!
Abandon ship!
Captain's log, stardate unknown. My mission has been a failure. Tasked with bringing the Archon to justice, the most dangerous being in the known galaxy, I was completely unable to prevent his escape from the brig of my ship. In fact, my ship has been completely destroyed. The Vanguard is no more. Three vessels crewed by Archon's cronies engaged the Vanguard in a fierce and desperate battle. With my ship falling apart around me, I managed to make my way to an escape pod and jettison before I lost my own life. I have awoken on a strange and alien world. At this time, I don't know the fate of my crew, nor the fate of the galaxy at large. The Archon must be brought to justice. That was the mission given to me by the organization, and I will see it through to whatever end. Captain's log supplemental. By some great miracle of fate, possibly happenstance, my chief engineer, Sergey, seems to have also survived the destruction of the Vanguard, our previous ship, and has also ended up marooned on this strange world. Together, we made our way across the surface of this planet until we came across a campfire. At this campfire, we found an alien lying near the flames, and they did not look very well at all. Their breathing was slow and weak. Now, I am an explorer, not a doctor, so I don't know exactly what was going on, but I brewed a tonic and presented it to the alien, whom I was still unable to communicate with, yet that tonic did seem to restore him to a semblance of health. In thanks, the alien gave us some of its food, some of its resources, and we continued pressing on. I don't know the fate of that poor creature, but I hope it does not suffer needlessly. Captain's log supplemental. Now, I am not a fan of arachnid species. I am something of an arachnophobe. We have just come from a most grisly sight. My only surviving crew member, Sergey, and myself came into what I can only describe as a ghost town. There was not a soul in sight, but the entire place was littered with spider webs. We found at the center of the town quite a large cocoon that was covered in some sort of toxic substance. Sergey, ever a quick thinker, whipped up an acid detergent and applied it to the outside of the cocoon, and within moments we helped free an alien from what would have otherwise been a gruesome and grisly death. The alien, very grateful for having their life saved, pointed us in the direction of a recently crashed starship. Perhaps we will be able to repurpose this vessel and use it to get off this stinking mudball. Captain's log, stardate 51429.5. We have ascended from the planet below, and space around us is an interesting sight. Using both the telemetry of this spacecraft that we have salvaged, along with the star charts we know of, it seems we were in cryosleep, escaping the destruction of the Vanguard for at least 100 years. I am quite concerned and terrified, in fact, of the destruction that the Archon may have wrought in the time while we were sleeping. Sergey and myself have both agreed that we will endeavour to return to the site of the Archon's attack on the Vanguard and see what clues we can discover from our lost ship. Perhaps we can find other crew members, perhaps we can find where the Archon went and hopefully bring them to justice. Captain's log, stardate 51429.6. The crew, and by crew I mean First Officer Sergey alone, has petitioned for the installation of a nanotransmitter in the crew lounge. This device would make it very pleasant to visit the crew lounge, as we would be able to catch up on episodes of our favourite nanotransmitted shows. On a personal level, I am deeply disappointed with Sergey. This is not the time to come to the captain to barter for better conditions. We must get to the wreck of the Vanguard and find out what happened to the rest of the crew. I, of course, declined his petition. Captain's log supplemental. In an apparent act of sabotage, Our telescope, the main instrument used for detecting stellar bodies, stellar phenomena, and finding our way in the galaxies, has been damaged. Sergey denies committing this offence, though I know I am not responsible and we're the only two on board this ship, right? Additionally, our gas giant probe, a crucial component for the well-functioning of our ship, necessary to probe and mine gas giants for the precious resources they have in order to fuel our engine, has also been damaged in routine drilling. I am filing a formal reprimand in Sergey's record. We must now find the resources to repair this probe by landing on a rocky world which has the relevant required iron to make necessary repairs. This will delay our travel to the site of the broken Vanguard. This narrative is based on Out There Oceans of Time, a cool new indie space exploration game that has just been released on Steam and is produced by Modern Wolf. I'd like to say a massive thank you to Modern Wolf for actually sponsoring this video, and if you'd like to go out there and buy Oceans of Time, please follow the link down in the description and you'll be able to purchase it on Steam. But without any further ado, let's dive back in to the adventures and logs of Captain Nix. Captain's log 51468.2. Whilst orbiting Seth 426, we have found a strange device, unknown in nature and unknown in detail. This may be the nefarious work of the Archon. We have done preliminary testing, and initially we sent out a signal to this strange device and it briefly powered on. We noticed a fluorescence change in the spectral output of the device, and then there were no further readings. We will continue to monitor it, but otherwise we must press on and find the Archon. Captain's log supplemental. While surveying the third world in the Seth 426 system, we've come across an interesting anomaly. Down on the planet's surface, there appears to be something of a village, a large congregation of living aliens that may be able to talk to us and trade with us. We are in need of some specific resources and, more importantly, some specific knowledge. Therefore, I will personally lead an away mission down to the planet's surface to see what we can uncover. I am aware this breaks protocol. Captains should not go down on away missions. However, in this specific instance, I believe it is a necessary risk in order to ensure the safety of the rest of our crew. Captain's log supplemental. Whilst on away mission on the surface of Seth 426-3, Sergey managed to uncover a pristine condition ventilated suit. That item should aid us in our future away missions. However, whilst passing through some of the local vegetation, it seems that the first officer Sergey has been infected by some sort of pathogen. His temperature is up, he has a fever now. I have advised him to apply nano-stabilizers, and that has kept his condition stable for the rest of the away mission so far. On arrival at the village, we have discovered that they are also suffering from a similar form of the pathogen to the one currently coursing through Sergey's bloodstream. At first, we actually thought this village was entirely deserted as we couldn't find anyone around, but after a short period of investigation, we realized most of the local inhabitants had sequestered themselves in their own homes. The moans of their pain is actually what caused us to realize they were there in the first place. Now, we were faced with a stark choice, either aiding the local villagers or simply looting the surrounding area for all of their things. We did decide, at great insistence from Sergey, to analyze the disease. He actually used some of these aliens as test subjects and was able to cure not only the entire village, but also himself. In order to thank us, the village presented us with some interesting ceremonial ceramic dishes, which at first glance seemed completely useless to us, but on further analysis once back on board the ship, it turns out the core structure of these ceramics was actually the ineffably hard to find resource or material known only as Omega. Stardate 52033.9. We have come into contact with what I can only describe as a telepathic star. The star itself, however ridiculous this sounds, does seem to be alive, and it has been projecting telepathic waves along with its solar winds directly at our ship. This has caused some overwhelming incidents for myself and my other crew member Sergey. Indeed, it has led to some total blackout situations. However, we could not be deterred. We must go through this system in order to reach the remains of the Vanguard, and I ordered Sergey to do just that. By piloting us very close to this star, it has severely affected our crew's morale. I hope with time this situation can recover. Captain's log, stardate 52056.1. We have returned to the location of the Archon's attack on our ship the Vanguard almost 100 years ago. We did find a single ship, a single anomaly in this system. However, this ship, this anomaly, was not the remains of the Vanguard. It was in fact, curiously, the remains of one of the Archon ships. We don't know exactly what has happened or why this ship has become stranded here, but it was entirely abandoned. We commenced a boarding operation and found that it was in fact hastily abandoned by its crew. We have stripped the ship of all parts and resources and will continue on our path to find the Archon. Data aboard this abandoned ship has pointed us in the direction of the Atlas system, which we must now travel to. It is almost 56 light years away, but we must continue our mission. We must find the Archon and find out what he did to the rest of our brave crew. Our mission is a thankless one, but we must do it for the sake of the whole galaxy. I think if I play my cards right, I will be guaranteed a medal at the end of all of this. Captain's log, stardate 52107.2. Whilst running routine sensor sweeps of the Lo-Ruha-Ma system, we detected an anomaly on the primary world of that system. Whilst performing a more detailed scan, we've noticed a seam of rare resources that we could use to either upgrade or improve key systems on our ship. Based on this, I authorized an away mission down to the hot planetary surface. Now, this planet is an inhospitable planet. It is not very friendly. The rugged surface is continually broken by lava flows, so we do have to be very careful. Whilst searching for the site of the anomaly, we have come across a glacier. Now, at the bottom of that glacier, whose mass is shifting and groaning, our readings detect a large vein of minerals about 100 yards further on. For that reason, I've tasked Sergey with excavating a tunnel. Hopefully we can access those resources in a timely fashion. Captain's log supplemental. Our drilling was very fruitful. Yes, the glacier did move, but we maintained continuous drilling through the width of the tunnel, and by timing it very carefully, we exposed a cluster of minerals that were very simple to harvest. This has been a successful outing so far, though we are going to push on further to the site of the anomaly. Captain's log supplemental. We've now arrived at the site of the anomaly, which appears to be an open air mine. Curiously, there are mining drones moving around for some nameless interstellar corporation which I believe is farming this area's resources. As of yet, we haven't come across any civilization, but we will continue to press further. Now, there are two options before us. We can either mine the ore directly or attempt to hijack the drones to do it for us. I am recommending to Sergey that he hijacks the drones, as this is his area of expertise. He tells me he's giving it all he's got, but I think he can give just a little bit more. And if you're enjoying this video, please log that using the like button. Captain's log, stardate 52108.9. Riding on the success of the previous mission, in which Sergey managed to reprogram the drones to effectively mine the ore that we needed, I am going to recommend him for a field commendation. That was absolutely fantastic work that highlights the very best the organisation has to offer. However, overconfidence can be a weakness, and we are now suffering from a shortage of fuel. We moved into position around a local gas giant in the Ixacar 607 system, and during probing of the gas giant we have found sufficient fuel resources to alleviate our current problems. It has been another great success. Crew morale is improving as we have found some fantastic helium. Captain's log, stardate 52121.0. En route to the Atlas system, we have discovered a civilized planet in the Jorim 479 system. This world does seem to be rather expansive in terms of its population capacity. For that reason, I have landed us on the planet's surface where we have taken some rest and relaxation. We are mending our sore and tired minds. I have used this opportunity to perform some reconnaissance and understand the current political situation in the galaxy 100 years after I have left it. Now, so far I've not really managed to discern much from this world. They seem to be something of a backwater, not involving themselves in much of the Archon's galactic politics, but I will endeavour to search further. Every single alien on this world seems to walk in a very strange manner. We don't know whether it is their gait or a dance of some kind, and in the middle of a large plaza we attempted to stage an impromptu group choreography. The locals were very willing to try our strange request, and in the end everyone had a great time, especially First Officer Sergey. Following these successful diplomatic overtures, I attempted to engage in a trade negotiation with one of the lesser Aleph, the native species on this world, named Oyazul. It is clear that these aliens do not understand the commonplace appearance and occurrence of gold, as I was able to trade a large amount of gold in addition to some tungsten and copper in exchange for platinum, precious helium fuel, and some of the Omega resource. We also managed to get our hands on the plans for a new shield generator, which I hope Sergey will be able to install on our ship. Overall, I can definitely say that this rest and relaxation trip has been a massive success. Captain's log, stardate 52190.6. During routine drilling for iron, which we preciously need on our ship, the drill was left damaged. I have had to reprimand Sergey for this gross incompetence, as we are now in a position that we have no iron reserves remaining and require iron to further repair our drill. This is a very precarious position for the ship to be in. And ironically, that now means we are in search of iron to repair our drill. Captain's log supplemental. In search of a location to either trade or find some iron, we have ended up in the EBA 587 system. On the second planet in, a garden planet, we have found 3 interesting anomalies on the planet's surface. I have decided that we should move to and look at the first and most interesting of these anomalies, something that appears to be a temple. I believe this could house some interesting local population that might have a rudimentary understanding of metallurgy and thus be able to give us some iron. To that end, I've authorized yet another away mission that I will lead with my trusty First Officer Sergey. Captain's log supplemental. The surface of this world is covered in gigantic organisms. Our senses define them as a mixture of plant and animal life. They seem to go right up into the stratosphere, simply breathtaking. While we are attempting to find the source of the anomaly, both myself and First Officer Sergey have picked up something of an infection. We are both running a high fever. We came across a strange yet magnificent villa, apparently built by a wealthy hermit and maintained by an army of robots. A mechanical butler guided us to the lord of the estate, who had been dead for centuries. Its withered corpse sits on the patio, overlooking the view and quite unaware of its retinue, or us, its guests. In order to escape, which we did have to do, as the robotic butler would not allow us to leave until its dead master had given the signal that we were allowed to do so, thus trapped in some sort of hellish nightmare forever. I attacked and overcame the robot butler, and we managed to escape and regain our freedom yet again, though we are still suffering from these fevers. Captain's Log Supplemental. We found the source of the anomaly, an inverse waterfall, which we at first found very incomprehensible. Glimmering with precious minerals, they were flowing upwards and disappearing into the sky. Initially, we did believe it was a gravitational phenomenon or some kind of technology that defied our current level of understanding. But we approached it, and I did order Sergey to sever the flux and thus stop this upward stream. With the help of the ship's sensors, he was able to uncover the fact that this is a collection mechanism, a collection station with some sort of gravity inversion device that is up in orbit. We did try to communicate with it, but its ancient abandoned state, which it must have been left in by some foreign civilization, meant that our signals were misconstrued. The satellite ceased its activity, and we were then forced to run, duck, and cover as minerals rained from the sky. But that did mean we were free to take what we needed. Sergey is still suffering from some mild asphyxia, but it was very mild. I do need to stress that in this log. Captain's Log, Stardate 53004.3. We intercepted a strange and interesting device which seems to have some peculiar markings and messaging that advises caution, do not activate. However, our instruments have detected a small amount of precious omega within its frame, and for that reason we've decided to activate the machine in the hopes that we can gain access to this omega after its completion. Captain's Log Supplemental. It seems I did make a drastic mistake. In activating this device, it fired a pulse into the local star, which caused it to collapse into a black hole. We were then suffering from the gravitational effects of the star, and we had to use a massive amount of fuel, as well as using its own gravitational pull to effect a slingshot maneuver. And we then did escape this system, although I must write a note to myself here: don't press buttons. On exiting the black hole system, our sensors picked up possible mineral anomalies around one of the worlds, which is starting to now freeze due to the collapse and destruction of its star. If we are to have any hope of getting the precious iron that we need imminently to repair the key systems on our ship, we will have to land on this world and recover the minerals before the entire atmosphere of this planet has completely condensed down to a thick ocean, at which point, if we are still on the surface, we may be trapped forever. Captain's Log, Stardate 53005.5. Whilst it wasn't the anomaly in question that we are here searching for, we did find a disused mine shaft which did house an enormous planetary drill. We decided to dig down even deeper, and we were then rewarded with some minerals. Whether or not those minerals contain the specific iron we need, I don't know yet at this present time, but I hope we can refine them at a later date. Otherwise, we are going to press onwards. Time is running out, but we must get our hands on precious iron. Captain's Log Supplemental. We have now found the source of the anomaly. Sergey tells me that it is something of a proto-god. That is the term he is using. I'm not entirely sure. We've just passed through some of the local flora, and again we seem to have suffered some sort of malfeasance. We've got it on some of our suiting, and I believe it is coming through the ventilation system. I am doing better than Sergey at the moment, but we must press on and see what kind of resources we can get from this anomaly before we're able to leave the planet. Captain's Log Supplemental. Sergey has been an exemplary officer. He has used all of his skills in order to contain this creature, this proto-god, which is surfing in a lake of omega. He is somewhat worse the wear still though, and I believe he is in need of immediate medical attention if he is going to make a full and swift recovery. Though we did now get omega and 20 resources which we can refine into precious iron. This has been a very successful mission, but we now must return imminently to the ship. Captain's Log, Stardate 53005.9. I regret that I must now inform the log that Sergey, our brave and beloved first officer, the last surviving member of our crew of the Vanguard, is now dead. He lost his life doing what he loved in service to the organization, and for that he will be remembered. A captain can accomplish anything, provided they are blessed with brave, intelligent soldiers. Science Officer Sergey was all of that and more. He brought love to every act of duty performed in guiding myself, Captain Nix, through the darkness of this stellar ocean. Of course, I will continue my galactic quest without him, though I do now feel hopelessly lost without his technical expertise. This ship itself does not seem to be responding to my commands for takeoff, and the atmosphere around me is now closing in. We are trapped underneath a vast ocean of atmospheric contaminants and solidified gases. I hope with time we are able to make it out of here, though I am fearful nonetheless. That was the last Captain's Log entry for the brave and valorous Captain Nix, at least in this universe. Captain's Log, Stardate 51468.2, again? I have awoken at Seth 426-4 installation. Amazingly, Sergey is still alive and he seems to have no memory of the previous few months. He does not remember the planet on which he lost his life. He doesn't even remember what happened after this installation. Our sensors currently read that the installation is powering down again, and that leads me to think that I am now forever trapped in this quest. If I alter, if I fail, I will always end up here, back at this installation. A cruel trick of the gods, or perhaps my eternal quest. I will know more, and I will endeavour to move onwards, to boldly go where no one has gone before. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see other videos from this channel, click the link on screen now.